for business this evening is to elect the 2025 board chair. Are there any nominations for board chair?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Brady to board chair position for 2025.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, the gavel is now yours.
Thank you. Thank you, fellow commissioners. I was a little worried there. So now we will go for nominations for the vice chair.
Mr. Chair, I will nominate Commissioner Glenn for vice chair.
Any other nominations?
Need a second.
A second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Abbey. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to welcome our new commissioner, Josh Prokopek. This is his first meeting of a 4-year term, so welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And we will go to, for approving the agenda, we've got a few changes to make note of here. Number 30 is a citizen committee. Changes already has changed. Number 32 is a publication of the bids and awards for the papers, and to go with the recommendation on that. And then on the consent agenda, we have a bill from Banco Companies. It was published as $78,576.68. The correct number is $18,576.68. The one that was turned into a 7, so it was a $60,000 mistake. We caught her right away. So with that, I would like to hear approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
Second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That will take us to public comment. Those wishing to speak must state their name and address for the record. After they are acknowledged by the board chair, each person will be limited to 2 minutes to make his or her remarks. Speakers will address all comments to the board as a whole and not one individual commissioner. The board may not take action on any item presented during the public comment period unless the item is already on the agenda for action. When appropriate, the board may refer inquiries and items brought up during the public comment period to the county administrator for follow-up. Any public comment?
Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive. Good evening. First, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Prokopek to the team. Continuing to discuss the East Side Corridor Memorandum, page 23 fails to include crucial information such as the visual impact assessment, which shows no anticipated visual impacts with an 800-foot buffer. Without this buffer, impacts were unavoidable. Key expert opinions were ignored. The DNR found that this plan was incompatible with the Steele County's water plan, and the Minnesota Historical Society raised concerns about historical remains, including possible burials. While the EAW listed noise impacts as a concern, the 800-foot buffer avoided these impacts and allowed the 150-foot right-of-way sufficient space for minor mitigations. These omissions go to the heart of WSB's credibility. In court, one line or omission destroys an expert's testimony. And WSB has given us 61 pages of inaccurate and biased data. This isn't new. WSB's failures with the 18th Street roundabout, despite roundabouts being their area of expertise, is a clear example. They've admitted that they weren't qualified and aren't qualified to work with the railroad and ignored the stakeholder input, costing us time and money. Now they're repeating those mistakes with the East Side Corridor. As experts, WSB should know that it is safer, faster, and cheaper to avoid impacts than mitigate them. Yet they ignored residents and failed to include avoidance strategies. If they'd listened in 2022, a hybrid plan could have been developed similar to what we have proposed. And East Side Corridor construction would have already been underway at the $9 million price tag, not the $30 million it has inflated to today. WSB claims we're passionate about transportation, but in truth, we're passionate about safety and common sense. Other consultants have successfully worked with residents to find balanced solutions, but WSB has not. You have the power to hold them accountable and demand they prioritize safety and practical solutions. Why do we keep allowing so-called experts to waste our time and money while they continue to tell us they're not capable? Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? If not, that'll take us to correspondence. Number 34, approve and sign the letter of support for the City of Owatonna application to Transportation Alternatives Funding for East Side Corridor Multi-Use Trail on page 100.
You may recall about a year ago, Greg brought the same letter forward, or a very similar letter. The City of Owatonna again is applying for funding to fund the multi-use trail that we built along the East Side corridor that we're going through the environmental study on right now. If we get additional funding, that'll certainly free up some fundings that the project's pretty much budgeted for. It's just a matter of if we can get some additional funding, we can reallocate those dollars to other priorities in the county. So we're continuing to chase after any grants that we can to fund the project outside of our normal funding. So here, the city again is applying for the Transportation Alternatives Funding, another program used for constructing the trail and the pedestrian and bicycle facilities. So the state of Minnesota's got about $12 million they're allocating across the state. We did apply, like I said, last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Other communities that were applying for it just were a little bit more competitive, and mainly why we didn't qualify, I guess, is other projects were much closer to construction, so they awarded the ones that were close to construction, whereas we are a couple more years out here yet. But now we're another year closer to construction here, so we're going to be moving forward and try again for this application and see if we can get the funding here for it. We're looking for $800,000 from this program. The city's putting an application in here, so for an estimated cost of about $1.1 million in trail expenses.
Now on this, is there a, if the state did come through and did come with the money, is it going to be spent by such and such a time, or?
There's usually a deadline on it, a sunset date, yes.
Okay.
We unfortunately don't remember what it is on this one here. But
Or if it don't, it just goes back and probably reapply the next year, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Paul, does this specify a route, or in any way does it lock in a path, or it can be used in any route?
any part of our East Side Corridor project,
Any side, okay.
wherever that may be.
I just want to make sure, because we haven't decided yet, that's to come, but I just want to make sure it doesn't lock us into some. Okay, appreciate that.
Any further questions? If not, board's wishes.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve and have the board chair sign a letter of support for City of Owatonna application to Transportation Alternatives Funding for the East Side Corridor Multi-Use Trail.
Your second.
I'll second that.
Motion to add by Abby, second by Krieger to accept the letter of support to the City of Owatonna for application for the Transportation Alternatives Funding for the East Side Corridor Multi-Use Trail, and to have the board chair sign. Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.